Thanks for tuning in to this post-race press conference from Indianapolis. Round number 4, the first of 3 stops here in Indianapolis. It's a great night of racing. Very exciting. Ken Roxon, congratulations. Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, round out the podium. Good job, guys. 250 division, Colt Nichols, great ride. Michael Mosman, Joe Shimoda, congratulations on your podiums. Kenny, I'm going to start with you. You mentioned on the podium, you went off the track, you come around the berm, you kind of noticed that Eli was there. It looked like you were in a position to kind of scoot in front of him. Was that a tough decision in that moment to back off and let him go? I mean, I have to imagine you're kind of dealing with a little bit of a frustration by going off the track, but I just want to know about that moment, deciding to lay up, get in behind him, and ultimately make what I think was the right call. Ken?
Yeah, so first off, I was trying to decide in the air because I cross-routed and jumped off to the left. I was trying to decide in the air if I land, I could still tuck in and stay on track, but I would have hit the tough block. Like, there was just no way. So I went all the way around, and obviously I missed the whole wall. And by doing that, I felt like it was wrong staying in front of Eli because I clearly, made a mistake. So I let him by on the straightaway there and tucked him behind him, and then capitalized a couple of turns later. But it was, I feel like, I don't know. I knew that the AMA would have a close eye on that one. So I feel like it was just the right choice to just, let him by and kind of settle him back there.
And then was there some urgency to get him back right away? Because it didn't seem like you wanted to wait very long.
Honestly, I was just trying to stay there and with him because I didn't just want to let this be the decider. And just found an opening and took it without planning it, by any means. But it just was a really quick, short decision.
Good job. Colt, question for you. Do you have any idea what was going on behind you the last lap? I mean, I'm sure you heard the crowd, and I know you know now, but in that moment on your last lap when you're focused on your victory, did you have any idea what was going on behind you with Christian and Jet and the battle that was, a few seconds back?
Yeah, a little bit. I was able to kind of keep tabs on those guys. I kind of knew where everyone was. I was trying to manage the race from the front. And, I kind of knew that Jet was coming. I could see him closing on Christian just a little bit at a time. And I was able to just kind of sit back and watch at times when I could. And then I heard the crowd go really crazy, I think, as I was going over the finish. And unfortunately, they weren't cheering for me. It was some drama behind me. But, that was wild. I haven't really got to watch it yet, so go back and look at it. But overall, I was glad I stayed away from the drama. I got a good start and was able to kind of steer clear of all of it.
And wire to wire, I mean, I mentioned on the podium, you've been in battles pretty much nonstop since the season started. How's it feel to just get out front and have the track to yourself and do your own thing?
Yeah, it kind of definitely made my life much easier, that's for sure. The gate I picked was awesome, thank you. And it was good, man. I got off to a really great start and was able to really just do my own thing. I knew Christian was behind me. I heard the Yamaha coming into some of the turns, and that was comforting. I knew he probably wasn't going to do anything too crazy, and I was able to just break away from him a little bit the first 4 or 5 laps. So once I got that gap, like I said, I was just kind of trying to manage the race from there. But yeah, it felt good to steer clear of the drama and be out front wire to wire.
Congratulations, guys. Open it up now. Let's go Jason Wygant, Racer X.
I'll go to Ken first on this one. So, Ken, obviously, I'm sure you're bummed the way the last 2 races went with a penalty and then losing lead in the last lap. Did you have a little extra motivation to try to get this one done?
I've just had huge motivation to win in general. It had really nothing to do with what happened the last couple of rounds. I've honestly forgot about it. Like I said, I've been talking about it over and over that I really wanted to, especially it got hyped up like even more and more and more, and which was to be expected just because it was a big deal. But I was over it way before everybody else stopped talking about it pretty much. So I just wanted to win. That's all I wanted.
Do you feel like the success you've had early season, you had a new bike and you took outdoors off, did you know you were going to come in this ready and this solid? Did you feel that way, or is this actually a little boost in confidence, how strong you've been these first 4 rounds?
Neither. I'm just trying to, I don't know, I'm just trying my hardest, and I'm definitely not getting on this thing of like, hey, I've gotten 2 2s and 1 1, like I'm the guy now. I don't really want to have my mind work that way at all. And coming into this, no, I didn't really know what to expect because I changed everything up within me and in my program. I shouldn't say everything, but a lot. And I just kind of wanted to see where I was at and honestly enjoy the process and put the ego aside and just kind of like rebuild my whole, I don't know, not image, but like just rebuild my career a little bit, So that's what I did.
Okay. Thank you.
Michael Antonovich, Swap Moto Live.
Thanks, Daniel. First question is for Ken. Ken, when you were behind Adam there, and Eli is right there behind you too, what are those emotions like in those, first 10 minutes of the moto, especially because you went for a few pass attempts and knew, hey, I have to make this happen now, otherwise I'm going to come under attack myself?
Yeah, that was the case. So obviously after Eli crashed, it was Adam and I in front. And for me, I made a couple of attempts that also, after that, I was kind of just a little bit further back and not really in striking distance. But every time I was on his wheel, like we were kind of yo-yoing a little bit. And then I really heard Eli coming. And then I had to start riding defensive a little bit, which can just really hurt you. First off, because the front guy, can take better lines and you're losing touch a little bit. But there were just a couple of spots that, the way the start was laid out, they were just really open turns. And, if you huck it really tight, like you just are not as good that way as, like if Eli, for example, sets up and he goes wide and cuts down. Like I saw him next to me a couple of times and I just really needed to get by Adam and I wasn't really sure where I was going to make it happen. And yeah, then I just dove to the inside and finally steered clear of that. But it was a good battle, obviously, with all three of us. It was a little hectic there for a second, but it was fun.
Cool. Second question is for Eli. Eli, you've made comments these last few races just about how the pace is and how if you don't get a start, how difficult it is to make passes. Tonight, great start. You were in there with the lead group. How did it feel to be in quote unquote clean air, like you put it a few weeks ago?
Oh, it was great. I mean, the pace tonight was hot. It was hot for sure the whole moto. And that's like, I was like, if I'm going to get a chance at this thing, I got to start up front. And unfortunately made the mistake, just clipped my front end on that last whoop. Looking back, I'm just like, gosh darn it, I'm such a dork. Because the rest of the moto, I'm like, I was paying attention to popping in my front wheel over that jump. And I'm like, or the last whoop, I'm like, why did I do that? But like you said, getting up front is so key right now because, you can see like the top three guys can go, you lose 8 to 10 seconds that first lap and it can be over right now, in the season like this.
Cool. Thanks guys. Great racing tonight.
David Iser, DMXS Radio.
Thanks, Daniel. Colt, I'm not sure after the heat race, Christian Craig said that one of your weaknesses is you can't sprint at the beginning of the race. I think you've dispelled that rumor. Did you hear that? And did you? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I didn't hear that one. But I mean, at times I've struggled to kind of get going a little bit. But whenever it's always, come down to it, the main event time, I tend to be able to take off pretty good. But it's just tough when you don't start, near that front, like 1 or 2. And even at Houston 3, he was able to get a little bit of a gap, around 2 seconds in those first 3 laps. I kind of, fumbled a little bit, but yeah, I cleaned that up tonight pretty well. And I was happy with my first few laps. Usually, I'm maybe a little nonchalant at first, but once you get out front, you can kind of try to break away and do your own thing. So I'm glad I was able to do that tonight.
You weren't able to jump the finish line, jump on the first lap of that heat race, but you were still able to catch Christian in the heat race. Did you know you had the speed tonight to match him and to catch him and pass him if you had to?
Yeah, I always feel like I can. As racers, you always just want to be competitive and compete. And I knew if I, got somewhere near him, I'd just try to do what I could to try to make a pass. And that heat race was good for me. I finally changed a few of the lines I was struggling with in practice, and I really struggled in practice today for some reason. So once we went back to the truck and we watched film, I was able to really clean things up and come back and have a solid heat race. And yeah, it felt, pretty good to run him down a little bit and try to just figure out what I could do if I needed to make passes in the main event. And luckily I didn't have to do that. So it was nice. Got a good start and was able to steer clear of everything. So.
All right. Thanks, Colt. Joe Schmoder, this one's for you. Congratulations on your first podium. It's a pretty amazing story coming from Japan and doing that. Now you had a little bit of time for this to set in. What does this mean to you? You've gotten to a pretty big step in your career.
Yeah, the podium definitely feels nice. But like I said in a podium speech, I had more in me, like Jet and guys were riding really good, and well, obviously they crashed out. So, but we always have next one to change, and I will make that change, and then we just have to make it real.
All right. Well, we used to have Showtime, and now it's time for Joe time. So believe in that, and congratulations. All right. Back to you, Daniel. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Showtime. I like it. Steve Giberson, Vital MX.
Thanks. Hey, Kenny, when you went off the track there and you had to go around the berm, what was it like? You went full adventure bike on us. I mean, were you wondering what was back there, if there was anywhere for you to even go at that point?
Yeah, first up in the air, it was kind of funny how quick the mind works sometimes, because in the air I was like I just wanted to like, dang it, you know what I mean? Because I knew I was going way too far left, and then I also thought, hey, I can brake and make it to the inside, but as soon as I got closer to landing, I'm like, there's no way. So I literally decided to just, instead of catching a tough block or whatever, and also Eli's coming jumping, so who knows, you know, we may have collided as well, but and then yeah, I went behind the berm and was just hoping for an opening somewhere to make it back in without like losing a lot of time. But obviously then I just had to go around the whole wall, and then I was on the start straight, and then that's where I had to let Eli by, because I clearly like was off the track like big time, and I feel like it would have not been good to jump back in there and like stay right in front of him. I just feel like that would have not been the right thing to do.
Yeah, with that corner backing up to the whoops, it had to be a little spooky wondering what was back there.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't just like, hey, I was off the track for a quick second and jumped back in. I was probably off track for a solid few seconds, you know what I mean, and really slowly making my way around there.
Mm-hmm. And for Michael Mosiman, talk about that heat race. I'm sure everybody's wondering about that. And then also in the main event, you kind of were you were in a good spot in the beginning, kind of went backwards, and then all of a sudden, wham, you're back in a great spot again at the end.
Yeah, it was an eventful day, and the heat race, obviously, stuff went down with Jet and I, the week prior, and so you hear about all week, you use it as motivation, and I didn't want to say anything or use words. I guess I just wanted to share it with my actions, and I think I did that tonight. I did that in the heat race, and I wasn't gung-ho. I gotta take this guy down, but the opportunity presented itself. I was on him like white on rice that first lap, and I ran him high and he went down. So it was definitely, crowd went nuts. Everyone was like stoked. So it was fun. The team was amped. I think Jet and I are cool. Like, he gets it, and so it's good. We fist bumped at the end of the night and stuff. But anyways, that was good. Clean heat race, and then in the main event, another good start, or a better start. I was right there with Christian and Colt out the gate, and I made two mistakes on like lap 5 or something, and I haven't seen those star guys here for a little bit, especially not in the main. And so there was one point where I was just kind of settling in behind Christian, and I was like, wait, no, like I should pass him. Like I should. And and lappers were really bad, making a few mistakes, but man, leaving tonight, just like big confidence boost, step in the right direction. I know I have the speed. Even after a lot of the lappers, Christian wasn't too far, and obviously Jet, he put it to us pretty good tonight and came through. So there's more speed out there, and honestly, I think I just got to apply myself lap to lap and find it.
Thanks, guys.
Alex Gobert.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, Alex Gobert, MotoOnline.com. First one for Kenny. We saw a lot of different riders kind of make different mistakes tonight. How do you think the track's going to develop over the next couple of, this coming Tuesday and then Saturday?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I just thought it was an odd build. We have these two big doubles in between there, and then I think the day started off kind of weird just because the free practice was a shit show. I thought, like we're doing a few laps and red flag and then to start this and start that. And it was just weird. And then I didn't think it was gonna, so when I originally saw the dirt, when we got our test done, I'm like, oh, it looks sick. And it looked a lot more loose, but then it got really rutted. And I think that rhythm section, it was built really tight and steep. And I thought the track was pretty gnarly with how many ruts they're developed, even on the big doubles and stuff. Cause I cross-rided there obviously and jumped off the track. It'll be interesting to see. They also watered it, I think, before the first practice this morning. So it'll be interesting to see how it will develop in this next race and how the build will be as well, if they're building it as tight again. Because in general, the track was super basic, but just the ruts made it gnarly.
Just for my second question for you again, Ken, did you agree with the changes that were made for the opening lap? How was that?
Yeah, I think for what it was, and obviously them not wanting us to loop around and hit the two big doubles, this was the best option we could have possibly had, for sure. Especially on quick notice like that, on a quick change like that.
Perfect. All right. Well done.
Thank you.
Dark Side, MotoX Pod.
All right. First one's for Cooper. Look, man, this year you guys are putting on a hell of a show. Everything's tight. Really don't know who's going to win or race to race. What's it going to take to get this championship done? Is it just simple as consistency, or is there something that you guys are going to have to do to really step out and take a lead and walk off with it?
I don't know. That's a good question, man. I think, as you can see, I mean, the start, like Eli alluded to, is super important with the way things have been recently. We're all super close. I think tonight kind of showed like there's three of us that are really fighting hard, and there's a lot of other contenders too. But yeah, it's going to be just maximizing opportunities all year. There's going to be bad races. There's going to be good ones. So I think putting yourself in a good position each weekend is important, and just riding the wave, if you will. You're going to have ups and downs, and just trying to be in it. And yeah, I think it's going to be tight. There's a lot of good guys, so you never know. But I think consistency is definitely always important.
All right, Joe Shimoda, you talked about it here. You talked about it at the press conference that really wasn't your podium, but you're getting closer. What do you need to do or improve on to make that next step where you are getting what you consider your podium?
Just riding 100%. Like right now I feel like a little not nervous, but like tight. So like I'm riding around 80% to 90%. I just need to get rid of that and just from start to the end, just instead of try not to fall, you kind of want to just go and just not stop, and that's what I'm looking for.
Revista Moto.
Sorry, Daniel. Thank you. I wonder if I could ask the 450 riders, can you talk a little bit about your preparation from Houston to Indianapolis? Did you have any riding on the bike between Saturday, between Houston and Indianapolis? And what do you envision for this week for riding and or preparation for the next few races? Will you have access to tracks, or at your level, do you not need that access or track practice your in light of your preparation coming into the series?
Well, going to be hard practicing in 6 inches of snow. So, I mean, I don't think there will be anything going on here per se. And then between Houston and here, it wasn't really that much time either. I mean, I left Wednesday night, so just kind of like feel good days and just kind of stay good and fresh on the bike, and then come ready. Racing 3 times a week is a lot of stress on the body as well. And but I do enjoy the getting the 3 rounds, if you want to say, out of the way, and have 3 rounds in 1 week is kind of nice, because we're already on past round 4 and just a little amount of days. So
Thank you.
Eli or Coop, you want to get in on that one, or are y'all good?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get riding in here. I mean, we did a little bit of riding in Houston. I know everyone did a little bit of riding, but obviously it's snowing out, so have to just rely on race days.
Yeah, same. Houston was a little different, being the first few rounds, I know we tried to do a few track days just because the weather was nice, but yeah, I don't think there'll be much riding with the weather, and I don't think any of us want to get on a plane and go ride for a day and get on a plane again. So yeah, just kind of trust your settings and your training and regiment and come out feeling good for the races.
Perfect. Thank you.
Nick, Moto Limited.
Yes, so Eli, I'm just wondering if you were able to benefit at all by going home last week. Today you looked a heap better on the motorcycle. The starts were better. Everything just looked better in the package. Was it good to be able to get home and do some stuff, or was there just progressive stuff made during the day? Or
I just had better riding. I didn't change anything, any setup. I haven't changed setup since the second round at Houston, so that's been the same. So it was just better riding. I felt more like my old self, even though I didn't win on the night, right? But felt like some old speed that way. So I'm just happy about that because I felt it was kind of off, those first couple rounds. But sometimes that happens. So hopefully we'll get in the flow here.
And also, like you stayed on the podium, like tonight was probably one of your most exciting races. Why was that? What do you take out of tonight that was just better than all the others?
Just good racing, and kind of just craziness the whole time. It was exciting, but yeah, it sucks getting second, but exciting racing. It makes me want to come back and race more. It keeps what we do exciting and want us to keep riding and racing. At least it does for me. So, yeah, that's what made me say that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Daniel. Cheers.
Thank you. Anthony Sansota.
Thanks, Daniel. Anthony Sansota, MotoOnline.com. First question for Colt. You're on the red plate now. It's a convincing win. Was it your plan to come in and kind of take control of the series, or were you just looking to let the day kind of come to you?
Yeah, really just letting the day come to you. You can't really have much of a plan. Once the gate drops, you just never know what's going to happen. But I just wanted to put myself in a good position, and, luckily I was able to do that tonight. But, by the time we left Indy, I of course wanted to be able to have that. I didn't know if it would happen tonight or not, but just maximized our opportunity and was able to sprint away and, now take over the points lead, which was nice. So, yeah, I mean, maybe a little earlier than we thought, but yeah, definitely just tried to maximize what I could tonight, and it just happened to be a win. So that was cool.
Yeah, cool. Great work. Michael, this question's for you. What's it going to take to close the gap to the front guys? And are you working on anything specific to make it happen, or is it just kind of come to you race by race?
I think Joe had a good point, and I think it may be something that I'm struggling with as well. Kind of riding, trying to make the best of it instead of like riding to win, and riding to not mess up, to not make mistakes. I think that's kind of maybe just riding a little bit reserved, because I'm totally capable, and even watching it back, I'm like I can run with these guys, and so it's really just letting myself send it a little bit more, and it's really tricky because sometimes the more you send it, right, the more mistakes you make, and it ends up being like backwards counterintuitive. And so and I've taken a lot of hits over the years, and so that's always in the back of your mind that track's no joke, and it'll bite you if you get sloppy. And so ultimately it's going to take that. It's going to take taking a little bit more risk and getting on the gas, I guess.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Daniel.
We're going to get in three more, one question each. Wygant, Iser, and Tanovic in that order. Weege, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. For Coop, just take me through your main. You had to make some passes. It was a pretty hard battle. Did you even know the podium was in reach? Just take me through your strategy there.
Yeah, it was weird. My start was really good. Joey, I don't know how he came out like a rocket ship, but he braked super gnarly, and I was kind of expecting him to push wide, so I braked gnarly, and then Eli kind of went around the outside of us. So I got bottled up behind him and ended up going back to like 5th pretty early on, and then made a mistake in the rhythm. So got pushed back early. And yeah, first lap, I saw who was out front, and I'm just like, shit, this is track position's key. And tonight was pretty hard to get around, especially in the beginning. Everyone's, going pretty fast. And yeah, I just felt like, I was trying to get around and started making a little bit of mistakes, trying to force things, and kind of took a deep breath and just calmed down and accepted those guys being out there and out front and had them in a gap, and just knew if I could get around Ferrandis and Savachi, that, a 4th was there. But if a mistake happened, then we were going to be good. And Adam went down, so that kind of made 3rd more reachable. And yeah, I mean, it's like the guys are saying, it's track position right now, and wasn't great for those first 2 laps.
David Iser.
All right, thanks, Daniel. Eli, this one's to you. We kind of saw the exuberation on the podium this time, and Kenny mentioned some things about making some perspective changes off the track. I mean, you just seemed positive. Was the championship off your shoulders? You seem different. Maybe the journey instead of the destination this year. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just what happens when you get older that way. But I'm still in it to fight for the thing and fight for everything, for the championship and the wins. But it's just fun in our class right now because it's good racing that way. It was just like, with the way the passes went down, yeah, I'm kicking myself on the outside on the sweeper turn. It's one thing I'll learn from the race, but just good racing. Like, that's the stuff you live for is that type of racing.
And having the respect for your competitors this time, it seems like you guys are all in a good place right now to be able to race hard, have fun, and still do your jobs.
Yeah, I mean, right now, right, it gets gnarlier down towards the end in the nitty gritty, but yeah, that's more of the general vibe. So that's what it is right now.
Thanks, Eli.
Yeah.
Anton.
Cool. To kind of continue on to that question for Ken, we see you guys race all the time, and the big emotion and the big thing that gets made about being a professional racer is how gnarly it is and how intense you guys are. But you guys don't do this unless it's fun. So how fun is it to be in a battle for position like you guys were tonight with 2 of the best riders in the world, your training partner, and one guy that's been your arch rival for so long?
Well, while we're racing, you don't have that much to think about, you know what I mean? And there's something, because for example, when I was sitting out for outdoors, as much as I needed that break, but we're so used to it, done it our whole life. There's just something about competing, we've done it 80% of our life. So yeah, of course it's still fun. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. And especially now having a family makes that whole thing even better. And honestly, I've just figured out a way again to just enjoy the process of trying to be my best, and trying to win and doing all this stuff. But yeah, there's something about it that, makes us keep coming back. And like I said, at least for me, it kind of felt like a little bit of a new beginning. And I mean, of course there's, anxiety, if you want to call that, because that's the nature of competing. You know what I mean? That's, I feel like, why we do it, the adrenaline and like, getting antsy and things like that. I love that feeling. So and now we're doing it as a family, which makes that even sweeter.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
I got to get one more in. Trent from Moto Limited didn't see his hand up. So Trent, last question.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Got one for you, Kenny, just going off sort of what you were just talking about. Your first win as a dad, how was that when you seen your little fella there at the end of the race and you sort of, all that emotion with him being right there? Run us through your emotion with that.
Oh, it was the greatest thing ever. I mean, obviously lately, even on the couple of second places, like my wife wasn't able and my son weren't able to come down there, but seeing them there, and as soon as I went down there, he's just such a smiley bugger in general. But as soon as I was looking at him, he was just smiling and laughing the whole time. It's the best feeling ever. It really is. And hard to explain to somebody that doesn't have kids, you know what I mean? Or a kid, I guess. And it just gets better and better every single day, I feel like. So now that this was in our bag was just a huge relief, and just, I don't even know what to say about it. It's just, makes my heart smile. And even in between all the practices and the races and whatnot, we're up in the semi here and just playing around, changing diapers in between the practices, and it kind of just kind of eases everything up a little bit.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Trent. Congratulations, guys. Again, very entertaining night of racing. I think we'd all agree that was a fun one. And you guys all rode very well. Thank you so much. And rest up. We'll see you on Tuesday.